It's never been easier to self-publish your books. Amazon makes it so easy and gives us so many amazing attributes that I want to share with you today. And I want to share with you the optional book sizes that you can publish your books in. So KDP stands for Kindle Direct Publishing. And that is the publishing arm of Amazon. And I suggest right away you join KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, because there's so many wonderful things you can get right off the bat. First of all, you can get tutorials, so you can learn all the ins and outs. Go through one a day, maybe just one every once in a while when you feel like it. And the other thing that they will give you is templates, and that's invaluable. All sizes of templates that you can directly put your book into. So what you can do is get a template, probably 6x9. 6x9 is industry standard. So you get a 6x9 template, and guess what? You can start writing directly into your book. And that's what I do. When I wrote this book, 101 Surprising Tips to Promote Your Book, it's my signature book that I teach from, that I give away, and I'll talk about that more in a few minutes. But what you can do is what I did. I typed my book straight into the template. So when it was ready, I sent it to the editor in the template, got it back, everything's formatted, organized, ready to go. Their templates are put into a Word doc. And they're invaluable because there's all kinds of sizes. There's 6x9, there's 8x10, which we do a lot of cookbooks for people. We put 8 cookbooks in 8x10. And then there's even another size that I've seen someone do a lot of books in. It's very, very small. It's kind of like 3x5. It's the itty bitty book compared to like this size book. And then this book here is a 36-page book. So you can see the shortest book you can have on Amazon with a spine, because it's nice to have a spine, is 36 pages. And then here's the difference. Like here's 70 pages, here's 36 pages. The shortest book you can make on Amazon is 25 pages, and then that's more like folded. There's no little spine. So you can pick this size if you want to do a small pocket book, or you want to have something to hand out as a calling card, even though I use the 6x9 as my calling card. And so what I did was very, very interesting to become the expert in my field, even though I've been doing it for decades, but to prove it, to show it, I wrote this book. And I've been speaking on 1 to 2 to 3 podcasts or summits a week for the last 3 years. So every time you speak on one of those, most of them are going to ask you for a gift, a lead magnet. So what happened during all that time, and it's before I published the book, I put it into a PDF, or you can put it into a flip book, which is really fun. You can just go online and say, how do I make a free flip book? I know Designer is one that I joined for like, I don't know, $27, and I make my flip books on there. So when you're going to speak on a podcast or a summit, you give them the link to your free gift, and you have it tied to a CRM. MailChimp's one of the basic ones that people start with. And then I really believe Keep is very good. I've used that a lot. And then of course we can have Go High Level and all kinds of them, Kartra, Influencersoft. And there's a ton. You want to ask some of your friends and colleagues which one they use, because you want to capture their emails. So what happened was, because I was giving away the PDF and sometimes the flip book when I spoke, I gave away 5,000 copies and garnered 5,000 emails before I even printed it into a book. And that was very exciting because, and I'm still doing it, I'm still speaking on podcasts and summits and adding to my list. Because then when I want to do a workshop or one of my signature compilation anthology books. This is my one I do at this point, and we're always looking for contributors for the next book. And this is very exciting. I have wonderful people in it. And so whenever I want to do an advertisement to, hey, be in the next Cinderella monologues and tell your story, then I have my email list that I can send it out to people and garner participants, contributors. And then when I'm teaching a class, which my signature class is write your short book in a day, believe it or not, a lot of people do it with my formula, then they come to that class. Or I have speech classes, I have longer workshops for 12 weeks, blow by blow, how to do every aspect of publishing, writing and publishing. So there's all kinds of things you can do once you build up that list. But one of the best ways to build up the list is to have a very short book as a lead magnet. And then when you put them up on Amazon, they sell. You're selling them too. You have a book launch, you tell everyone you wrote a book, please get my book, support me to help me become a best seller, which is a whole nother class I'll teach another day. But so then you have your book and you're giving it out, you're selling it, you're garnering clients and people to know you're the expertise. Maybe you just want to be a speaker and, you know, do a TED talk and speak for companies, speak, who knows, but you can use your book as your flag. Hey, everybody, I'm the expert in this, and people love it if you have a book. Now, I want you to remember one thing though. You don't have to have a book to start speaking because you already know your material. But having a book for some reason puts it into the mind of people that now they are hosting an expert in the field that is going to be talked about today. So it's good to have. You don't have to have it, but I would suggest you get at least a 36-page book. So then here's the next step, the outline for your longer book. Everyone says to me, oh, I can write that 36-page book. That's easy. I'll whip that out. And you're right, because anyone can write a 36-page book about something they know in a day or two. Work on it, make it better, get it edited. We don't need more bad books. And get it published in a week or two. Anybody can do that, especially if you just blather down your information and fix it later. Barbara Kingsolver says, giving us permission to do that, give yourself permission to write a bad book, then work on it until it's a good book. And what Barbara means is don't wait. Blather it down, get it written. Done is better than perfect. Who says that? Everybody says that. I think Minnie Pearl has a beautiful quote about that. So really think about starting your book, giving yourself a day to do it, and maybe another day to finish it, and then work on it, get it published. Now you've got back. And you can wave it around, and put it on the internet, you can YouTube and make a little 2-minute spiel. All kinds of things can happen once you have that book in your hand. And the greatest thing about Amazon is that they give us samples. Please never publish a book without samples. You want to make sure it's looking professional, it's looking good, and you can send it back as many times as you want. What you have to do is make a new PDF and reload it, but you can fix it. You can send it to beta readers, you can send it to people you want to read it, to make sure you're not missing any key points, to make sure your grammar and spelling are looking good, to make sure your format is holding. That's pretty important. So anyway, so now we've done the 36-page book. And we want to move on to the bigger books. So the next bigger book would be 79 pages. With 79 pages, there's room on the spine to put your title and your author name. Before that, there isn't. And so then a lot of people are opting to write, and this is what most people are writing now, the comfortable 125 to 135 page book. With attention spans dwindling, which I attribute to so much coming at us, not ADD as much as we're getting a lot of input constantly every day. I really see that more people are writing those comfortable 125 to 135 page book. Then you can use that for the outline and expand it. I could expand this one, each one, to the 79 page book, the 125 page book, and then to maybe the longer book, which we're doing shorter than Mishner. We're not doing Mishner anymore. So 100 and maybe go back 200 pages to 250. The longest book, my book about my famous grandmother from Cowgirl to Congress, is 300 pages. So you can see the difference here between 300 pages and 70 pages. So then you may want to go for that longer book, but don't worry about it, because first of all, you're going to have a book in your hands about 36 pages. And that's exciting. Once you get even that sample in your hand, you're like, I'm an author. This is so exciting. And one thing to remember, and that most people don't realize, is that the more books you have, the more you build your algorithms. So now we've got our 36 page book, our 79 page book, our 125 page book, and our 200 page book. We've got 4 books out of one book. Now we're getting noticed because our algorithms are building. We're asking our friends and colleagues for reviews. Beg, borrow, steal. You want those reviews. And we're putting in the right categories and the right keywords. One quick word on categories. I always suggest you do a very obscure category and 2 major categories, or opposite, because that's what gets your book noticed. I just had a client who published his book and we did the perfect categories. I don't know how it happened, but his book stayed almost near #1 as a bestseller as a paper book back, which is very, very hard to do, for 6 weeks. So he did quite well. And I think we can attribute that to the categories we chose, and maybe the keywords as well. So that's exciting. Now, I have one really good thing to say about my publishing schedule. I have a publishing schedule that really works. So what you want to do, and this is really, really important, unless you're just going to go with ebooks, is to publish your paperback first. Don't do the ebook until the paperback has been out for about 4 weeks. And the reason for that is I want my books on people's shelves. I want my books in their hands physically. And that won't happen as much if I do the ebook first or along with the paperback. And there's one more reason, is you want to make some of that money back that you've maybe spent on a good editor or a coach. And so you want to make sure that your book comes out as a paperback, because that's where you're going to make your one big chunk in the beginning. Now, you're going to hear from a lot of people that are going to advise you to do the ebook first. Don't do that. Trust me, I've done this with a lot of people and my own self, and I know. The reason those people are telling you that, they are our mentors and they have massive lists, 10,000, 20,000 people, which most of us don't have. And so when they send out that they're doing their ebook first to 20,000 people, they might get 10,000 takers and they're selling their book for 99 cents at the 99-cent sale. And so they get 1/3 of that, and 6,000 people buy their book. They're making $2,000 right off the bat. So that's not going to happen for most of us. So believe me, paperback first, then wait 3 to 4 weeks, and then do the ebook. Now, just about 2 years ago, Amazon finally came on with the option of hardcovers. So my other advice is, don't do the hardcover along with the ebook. Maybe do it 2 weeks later, because when you're trying to become a bestseller, which not everyone will do with a paperback, but it's possible. And more than possible, almost everyone I've been working with has done it. So you want to hold off on the hardcover because the paperback and the hardcover and the ebook are all counted as separate entities for best-selling. And you want to really give your paperback a chance to become a bestseller before you introduce the hardcover. Most people won't buy the hardcover because it usually costs twice as much. So that's my publishing schedule. So a recap is you're going to do the paperback first, and then about 2 weeks later, add on the hardcover. And a month after the paperback comes out, then do the ebook. And then you need to leave the ebook in KDP Select, which is an option there, for 1 month before you can do the 99-cent sale. And I really suggest you do the 99-cent sale through Fussy Librarian. Fussy Librarian. It's a tiny payment, but they get the most action of any of the companies I've tried my books through. I have a whole list of other companies, but I'm not going there today. What I'm going to do in this class is attach my suggested publishing schedule for you because it will really help you. And it really works. It's worked with everyone I've worked with. It's worked for me. And it's a sure bet on hopefully becoming a bestseller. And if you don't at paperback, don't be discouraged. You will with the ebook. That's a promise. That can happen. That's a lot easier to do, especially when you do the free. Now, a lot of people say to me, I don't want to give away my book. I want to sell it. But you do want to give away your book because it's going to be given, especially through a company like Fussy Librarian, to people who were never going to hear about your book, were never going to buy your book. And now they're reading your book and they will be able to buy it if they want or talk about it. And I have one mentor, she was traditionally published and she decided to go with self-publishing because she already had a following, which most of us don't have exactly. And she does Fussy Librarian. She likes it. And she has a series. Now, series are really selling. So if you're thinking of a series, yes, 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 yes. Series are selling, romance is selling, horror is selling, mysteries, murder mysteries, those are all selling a lot. But what you and I are trying to do mainly is try to make our book to show our expertise and to give away and to garner emails and speaking engagements and things like that. But anyway, so she does Fussy Librarian. And interestingly enough, she said that she makes about $5,000 in her other book sales every time she does Fussy Librarian for one book. So but that's because she has a following. And every time I do Fussy Librarian, I do make some sales. And it's very exciting because I think people look at it, they go, well, I want a real book in my hand, or they read a little bit and like, oh, this is a really good book. So you never know. So there's a lot to it. There's a lot of layers. I've covered a lot today. I'm always accused of teaching like a fire hose. Oh, guilty. I will always do that because I like teachers who do that. And one of my mentors just said, Mila, under promises and over delivers. I really like that. And that's pretty much why I'm telling you so many of the attributes and the facts. So you can listen to this as often as you want and maybe go over it and make some notes. And like I said, I'm going to attach the suggested publishing list. And I would suggest printing it out, putting it on your wall, and following it. And I also have a really other method, the slow burn method, which always works. But that's another class.